Hello everyone, this is TJ with Avidyne's Tech Support Group, and in this video we're going to be covering section 2.2 of the SkyTrax 100B installation training. And in this section we're going to be discussing how the SkyTrax 100B is going to interface with the EX5000 Integra MFDs, as well as the EX500 and EX600 MFDs. So the first thing that we need to get out of the way is that most of these MFDs are going to require a software update. If they don't already have 8.2 or later software, they're not going to be compatible with the ADS-B stuff. For the EX500, EX600 MFDs, it's going to have to be software version 4.2 or later. You can identify that by the software part number. It's going to be a 530-00235 or later or higher number. And the rest of this video we're going to be talking about the EX5000 specifically, but understand that the configuration and the interface stuff is identical for an EX500 or an EX600. The only real difference between the 5000 and the 5 or 600 series is the software version. The 5000 requires 8.2 or later. The 500 and 600 require 4.2 or later. And here's where you can find that software part number, right here on the aux page. On the MFDs, now you'll notice that the one represented here is not going to work. This one's going to require a software update. This is a 530-00180 part number. So it needs to be a 235, so it should be 530-00235 or higher to be ADS-B compatible. Now the first drawing we're going to take a look at here is actually out of the 8.2 MFD installation manual for the EX5000. You'll see the part number there at the top. This is the manual and the rev that I took this picture out of. This one's a little bit easier to follow because it's just the SkyTrax 100 and the EX5000. We're going to get into the interface drawing that's in the SkyTrax 100B installation manual shortly, which is a little bit more confusing because there's a little bit more going on, but we'll get there. So in this drawing, you can see it's pretty simple. We've got ARINC 429 for traffic, and we've got RS-232 for FSB weather. Now, that being said, it should be understood that the EX5000s, EX500s, and EX600s can only do ARINC 429 traffic. What that means to us is that it's going to be legacy TAS symbology, so you're not going to get full ADS-B symbology on these MFDs. It's understand that these MFDs are a little older and they're only capable of doing TAS type traffic. So that's what's going to be displayed there. So let's have a look at it. Legacy TAS traffic via ARINC 429. FSB weather, it's going to be a capstone protocol coming out of the SkyTrax 100 on RS-232 and to the EX5000, EX500, EX600. It's going to be set up for a capstone or SkyTrax weather protocol for the FSB weather display. And here's the drawing out of the SkyTrax 100B installation manual. And as I had mentioned before, there's a lot more going on here. As you can see, they've added an IFD into the mix because the SkyTrax 100B has to have a GPS source of some type, so we assumed it would be an IFD. And this drawing is a little bit more convoluted, so let's go through this. I want to try to explain this as best as I can. So this wiring right here, this ARINC 429, this is optional if you want to get legacy TAS targets on the IFD. We don't recommend using this because you can do this RS-232 up here as capstone traffic and weather, and you'll get full ADS-B symbology on the IFD itself. So I'm going to say let's just remove that portion entirely, and we'll use this ARINC 429 output to go to the EX500, EX600, or EX5000 MFD. Again, the display is only going to be capable of legacy task symbology, so that's what we're going to use for this guy. And then we're going to have an RS-232 set up for capstone weather, and this is going to be our FSB weather getting to the MFD. And then up here we've got capstone high-speed traffic and weather in and out, and we've got our IFD providing GPS information into the SkyTrax 100B, set up for ADS-B plus G2. The other thing to keep in mind on the SkyTrax 100Bs is not only do they need GPS position, but they also have to have altitude data coming in from a certified altitude source on board the aircraft. The IFD will not provide that information, so it has to be sourced elsewhere. But we have some options. AXP340, ACK 30.9, Icarus 3000U, Sandia, Shaden, Transcal, etc., etc. It needs to be RS-232. The SkyTrax 100B will not take gray code. So that's an important thing to remember. The next thing I want to talk about is on the PFDs, because usually when you see an Integra MFD, it's tied in with an Integra system that also has a PFD. So this snippet is taken out of the PFD installation manual, where we actually can get ARINC 429 pressure altitude from the PFD and take that into the SkyTrax. It's going to be on channel 0, transmit A and B on the 732, pins 21 and 22, and those are low speed outputs. Those are not configurable, so that data is there. It's probably already being used elsewhere in the aircraft, but you can always parallel into it or tap into it if you need to. No problems doing that with ARINC 429, but that is going to be a low speed setting, so just make sure that the SkyTrax is wired up accordingly. Now for the configuration on the MFD, first you're going to have to put the MFD into maintenance mode or configuration mode. The way you do that is from the aux page, holding in the number 1 and number 3 keys on the left hand side if you're counting down from the top. And what will happen is it'll reboot, and it'll reboot into this mode right here, and this will be the screen that you see. So you'll notice in our MFD we've got the software updated. We're at 235 or later, so we are 8.2. We're good to go. We're going to go ahead and select traffic setup, which is going to take us to this page, and we're going to set up our SkyTrax 100 on ARINC 429, whichever port we wound up using for that. Hit save, and it'll take you back to this page. The next piece is for the FSB weather. We're going to go into aircraft setup right here, and on aircraft setup we're going to go in under broadcast, and we're going to set up SkyTrax 100 radio. We're going to set up our RS-232 port, again whichever port you used. Just make sure it's not already being used by something else. We can go in and we can set our baud rate. The recommended baud rate is 115/200 for this guy. So this section right here is your setup stuff for the FSB weather. The traffic stuff is on the ARINC 429. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. That's all we've got on this video, and as always, if you have any questions about anything that we've discussed here, feel free to shoot an email over to techsupport@avidyne.com. We'd be glad to help you out. Thanks for watching.